Welcome back to another episode of the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Emma. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that's been buzzing all over TikTok, something called cortisol face. If you've been scrolling through your feed, you might have come across users talking about this phenomenon, and we're here to unpack the science behind it.
Exactly, Emma. Cortisol face isn't just another social media trend. It's rooted in the body's response to stress and how prolonged exposure to stress hormones like cortisol can visibly change our appearance. But before we get into that, let's talk about what cortisol actually is.
Cortisol is often referred to as the stress hormone, and for a good reason. It's produced by the adrenal glands whenever we're under stress, whether that's physical, emotional, or psychological. But cortisol isn't all bad. It's essential for several vital functions in our bodies.
That's right. Cortisol helps regulate our metabolism, manage our immune response, and even control blood sugar levels. Normally, our cortisol levels fluctuate throughout the day, peaking in the morning to help us wake up and gradually tapering off by night so we can wind down and sleep.
But here's where it gets tricky. When we're under chronic stress, our cortisol levels can stay elevated for extended periods, and that's when the problems start. Prolonged high cortisol can lead to a range of health issues, including changes in our physical appearance, like the so-called cortisol face.
So, what exactly is cortisol face? This term has gained popularity on TikTok as users discuss how stress and elevated cortisol levels are affecting their looks. The main feature of cortisol face is a rounder, fuller appearance, often described as moon faces. This is due to fat redistribution, which can occur when cortisol levels remain high.
And it's not just about looking puffy or swollen. These changes are linked to how our bodies store fat when under stress. Cortisol can cause fat to accumulate in specific areas, particularly the face and abdomen, which can lead to this characteristic rounded appearance.
It's fascinating, but also a bit concerning. This trend on TikTok is shedding light on something very real, how chronic stress can literally change the way we look. And it's not just cosmetic. These changes can be a sign that our bodies are under significant strain.
Exactly. And while TikTok users might be focused on the appearance aspect, there's a deeper conversation to be had about the health implications. Elevated cortisol levels over time can lead to issues like obesity, cardiovascular disease, and even impaired immune function.
Let's talk about the psychological side of things. The relationship between cortisol and psychological stress is well documented. When we experience stress, our hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, or HPA axis, kicks into gear, leading to increased cortisol production.
And over time, if we're constantly stressed, this system can get out of balance. Chronic stress can dysregulate the HPA axis, contributing to mental health issues like anxiety and depression. And here's the kicker. Psychological stress doesn't just stay in your head. It manifests physically, which is why we're seeing this cortisol face phenomenon.
That's a great point, Emma. Stress isn't just something we feel. It's something our bodies react to in a very real way. And when we're constantly bombarded by stressors, whether it's work, personal life, or even social media pressure, our cortisol levels can remain high, leading to these visible changes.
And the impact doesn't stop at just making us look different. Chronic elevation of cortisol is linked to several serious health issues. For example, in patients with conditions like oral squamous cell carcinoma, higher cortisol levels have been associated with worse prognoses.
Yes, and that's why it's so important to manage stress, not just to avoid cortisol face, but to protect our overall health. Research has shown that managing cortisol levels can improve outcomes in patients facing serious health challenges.
And let's not forget lifestyle factors that can influence cortisol. For example, while caffeine consumption doesn't significantly alter cortisol patterns in non-stressful conditions, it's still a good idea to be mindful of your diet and habits when managing stress.
Speaking of managing stress, let's talk about some natural ways to keep cortisol levels in check, specifically using herbal remedies. At Herbal Bloom, we've developed an advanced herbal formula designed to target the root causes of cortisol imbalance. This formula is based on the latest scientific findings on how cortisol affects stress response, metabolism, and immune function.
The formula includes a powerful blend of adaptogenic herbs and supportive nutrients. These components work together to modulate the HPA axis, enhance adrenal health, and promote metabolic balance. Let's break down a few key ingredients.
First up, we have ashwagandha, an adaptogen that helps regulate cortisol levels, reduce stress and anxiety, and improve overall energy and resilience. It's a cornerstone in stress management.
Then there's rhodiola rosea, another adaptogen known for enhancing the body's stress response, reducing fatigue, and improving endurance in stressful situations.
Holy basil, or tulsi, is another fantastic addition. It has anti-anxiety and antidepressant properties, helping to manage psychological stress and balance cortisol levels.
We've also included licorice root, which supports adrenal function, a key player in maintaining proper cortisol levels. However, it should be used cautiously due to its potential to increase blood pressure.
And let's not forget ginseng. It improves the HPA axis function, helping with stress management and boosting energy levels.
On top of that, the formula is supported by other components like magnolia bark, lemon balm, and omega-3 fatty acids, all of which contribute to reducing cortisol levels and promoting overall well-being.
But beyond just taking supplements, managing cortisol requires a holistic approach. Incorporating regular physical activity, mindfulness practices, adequate sleep, and a balanced diet are all crucial steps.
And monitoring your body's response is key. If you're taking herbal remedies, it's essential to start with a low dosage and adjust as needed. Consulting with a healthcare professional is always recommended, especially if you have pre-existing conditions.
The goal is to create a lifestyle that supports your body's ability to manage stress naturally, reducing the long-term effects of elevated cortisol.
So, while the TikTok trend of cortisol face might seem like just another passing fad, it actually highlights a much deeper issue: how stress impacts our lives, both physically and mentally.
By understanding the role of cortisol and taking proactive steps to manage stress, we can improve our overall health and quality of life.
That's all for today's episode of the Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. We hope you found this discussion on cortisol and its effects both informative and empowering.
Remember, stress management is key to maintaining your health. Whether it's through herbal remedies, lifestyle changes, or a combination of both, taking control of your cortisol levels is crucial for your well-being.
If you're curious about the herbal formula we mentioned or want to learn more about managing stress, check out our website at herbalbloom.org. Stay healthy and take care.
Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review if you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, take care.